Hello, I am Jason Kufurala George. I play keys with ShofarBand, and today we will be discussing Fix Our Eyes. We will be discussing the keys part specifically for Fix Our Eyes, and in this setup, we will be trying to create a reduced yet still functional arrangement for Fix Our Eyes using the stock mainstage library, mainstage instrument library. So for this track, we'll just be using a bit of retro synth, if you know what that is, just a standard big pad of some kind, not too violent, just very ambient. And we have a delay running into it in order to create the size. Delay Designer, I believe, is the name of the effect unit, the mainstage effects unit that we use. Yes, Delay Designer, I believe. And then Ensemble, we run it into Ensemble after that, and then we compress. This is the important bit about the synth. You have to compress the synthesizer so as to get it to be level. In this song, you'll notice that it's a very electric guitar and drums and bass driven arrangement. So with the keys, all we do is just help provide some of the bigness, some of the size to the song, help communicate the context upon which the electric guitars, the bass guitar, and the drums will be playing. So all of the chords, they'll be quite wide and they'll be fairly simple. The goal with playing the song correctly is that you want to make it as clean sounding as possible. So rather go for chords like that with a B, an E, an F sharp, and a B. Well, I believe they're called seconds or even ninths, depending on which inversion you play. Rather go for those chords than standard triads, because that G sharp over there, that major third, or even a minor third, would create massive issues for you in terms of that cleanliness that you want to facilitate in the key sound. So another thing that would help, specifically today with this setup, this keyboard does not have very good MIDI capabilities for controlling the volume. You'll notice that in the first track of the song, there's a volume fade in on the synth. So I'm going to be manually doing that on main stage myself. So do not mind me as I take hold of the virtual slider and I slide it up to a satisfactory volume. We'll just be playing through verse 1, the chorus, and the bridge, because the choruses are basically the same. The only thing you might want to keep an eye on, and I will communicate that when we get there, is in the last chorus, the very last chorus, there's a flat 6. There's a G note in the key of B at a BPM of 130 beats per minute. You will notice that there's a G that could create some problems for you, but there are ways to get around that. But first we will go from the intro into this verse, as in from the volume fade in into Who is this God who rules the heavens. The chords you'll be playing will be very second heavy, things like that. Those are the chords for the intro, just to keep that B in the bass for the continuity that runs right through the sound. So yeah, we'll start on that chord as we do the volume fade in. It is very critical, I believe, to note that you can, if the sound doesn't necessarily please you, you can sculpt the EQ of the song on main stage using the stock EQ that main stage provides to fit your ears better. We have it like this just for the size that you may need to sculpt it to your congregation. That is an interesting thing to note. And I'm sure if you're not necessarily using main stage, but if you're using any kind of other DAW, I'm sure it'll come with its own channel EQs There's some very nice free ones that you can download. You just need to do some research and to find which one suits you the best and suits your application the best. You can perhaps even make a pad, just a normal pad on your keyboard. That might work. Okay. Now we're going to move on to the first chorus. The first chorus, if you look according to the chord charts, does not have an F sharp major in it. Therefore, there's none like you, no other God. It does not have that. That only introduces itself in the second chorus. So this is how it goes. Well, chorus 1. And then for the second chorus, you introduce that F sharp chord, and it will sound something like this. For this song specifically, given that, as you may have noticed, the song has a very big focus on the bass chords, what you need to be very careful of is that you make sure that the bass notes don't necessarily wash over the rest of the chords that you're playing, and that it doesn't mess with what the bass player is playing. But that's something that can be solved out of the front of the house. You just need to be mindful of it in a playing sense of the word, that some of these chords, as they evolve and as they die out just by virtue of how I've set them up, it could interfere with new chords you want to introduce. So be mindful of that. Now we'll do the bridge. The bridge sounds something like this. Coming out of the chorus, we then go into this interesting chord structure where everything dies out. That's on the sixth. There's none like you. There's no other God. 4. And our eyes are on you. And then it goes to a G chord. For the sake of simplicity, if you come out of the you're holding our complete attention, you can drop out there, just for the sake of allowing the electrics to do their thing and to ring out and create that space, and to do the da 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 da. You don't have to participate there, but what you must remember to do is after coming out of the da 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 da, you have to come in on the G sharp minor. So, for instance, you're holding our complete attention. There's none like you. There's no other God. And our eyes are on you. And then it goes back into the chorus of the song. Then it goes back into the chorus of the song, and from there you ride it on to the end. This has been the keys tutorial. I hope that it helped you. I hope it served you well, and I wish you the best of execution as you perform this song in your local congregation context.